Buying your first camera is a lot like buying your first car. You don't even know what you want. Heck, you don't even know what you need. All you know is that last week you were parking in the freshman parking lot, and this week you're ready to take the wheel. But pump the brakes there, fella. You can't go from riding your bike one week to driving around town in a Porsche the next week. You need to determine what the best camera is for you. Spoiler alert, there's no such thing as the best camera.
Because you were the best.
Best camera. Best camera. I have no loyalties. I've signed nothing.
I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to educate you or your parents on things to consider when looking to buy your first camera. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of choosing your first camera, let's address two fundamental things: sensor size and types of camera. Your sensor size is going to play a crucial role in image quality. A bigger sensor usually means better performance when it comes to low light, dynamic range, as well as shallow depth of field. Dynamic range is how your camera sensor handles the differences between contrast areas of light and dark areas. Depth of field is just how blurry that background is, essentially. A good rule of thumb is the larger your sensor goes, the more you're gonna have to pay for it. And they range from 1-inch sensors to micro four thirds to full frame, all the way up to medium format. Bigger is not always better. There are trade-offs, but we're not gonna get into that in this video. Separate from sensor sizes are the types of cameras that are available on the market. There are compact point and shoots, there are bridge cameras, there are digital SLRs, and there are mirrorless. Each of these camera types offer unique features to suit various needs and preferences, and whatever else your heart contends. If you're currently shooting on your phone and you are looking to step up your photography game, I highly recommend you look at point and shoot or bridge cameras that have at least a 1-inch sensor. A 1-inch sensor is gonna do better than what your phone is doing currently. Okay, now that we have that sorted out, we have to determine what your budget is. Your budget's important because it's gonna set the confines of what you can afford. You need to stick to the budget and don't deviate from it, because once again, you're just starting out. Next, you're gonna have to figure out the next logical progression on your camera journey. So like I had just mentioned a little bit earlier, if you're coming from your phone, the most logical next step is to step up to a point and shoot or a bridge camera. I recommend going this route because once you start buying into an interchangeable lens system, you're investing into that system. So let me give you an example. If I go out and buy an SLR, I'm gonna need the camera and I need to buy the lens. Well, I've already invested into that camera gear. Not that I'm stuck into that system, but I've invested into that system. So logically, I would just say go point and shoot or bridge camera because everything will be contained. You won't have to buy a separate lens or anything. Having said that, if you do go and buy interchangeable lenses, don't worry because your gear will retain its value as long as you take care of it. After you've determined your budget and after you've determined the next logical progression that you need to take, the third thing you need to do is go for a test drive. Just like you're test driving a car, you're gonna test drive your camera. Daily practice is so important. So if you don't have a camera that inspires you to get out and shoot, then what are you doing in the first place? It's important to test drive a camera to just get into a store and physically feel it because you wanna feel how it handles, the ergonomics, how it feels in your hand. The camera should be an extension of you. Okay, let's recap. We've got our budget, we've got our next logical progression, we've test drove the camera. The fourth and final step is to actually purchase something. So what do we do? And here's where we go back to step one, right? Budget is everything. So you gotta stick to your budget. The way I do this with everything that I buy, 90% of the time it's used. And ideally you buy used at that local camera store. Support local whenever you can. But you have two other routes here. You can buy from other users on places like eBay or Mercari or Facebook Marketplace. Those are user to user selling platforms. Or you can go with a online retailer that have actual customer service and a reputation. Some places I have bought used gear from online in no particular order are KEH, B&H, Adorama, and MPB. They're awesome. Like I said, they have customer service, they have a reputation to uphold. Everything I've gotten from any of those places, I've never had any hassle. And likewise, even with eBay and Facebook Marketplace, I've had zero issues. I do have one final bonus tip to offer you guys. Don't overlook film cameras. Film has made a great resurgence in the last 5 years or so, and you can get a full frame film camera for a fraction of the cost of a digital one. Now, having said that, there are some drawbacks. Number one, there's no instant gratification because you're gonna have to wait to send that film off somewhere to get developed. And number two, the price is associated with buying film and getting that film developed. But there is that route that you can go. It's an alternative to everything I mentioned beforehand. I forgot one other thing, so this is a bonus tip. If budget is still a main concern and you want a cheap camera, look at cameras that are at least 10 years old. I got this epic shot of this fox on a camera that was like 12 years old. It's just a tool and it's how you use it that matters. Once again, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to provide you with the information that you need to make your decision. And if you want to learn the 3 things that I did to become a better photographer, click here. And if that doesn't float your boat, click here because, well, it's free and we're just getting started here. You and I in this weird, magical internet relationship. Okay, bye.